However, future profit may not be the main reason that Trump wants Ukraine's minerals so badly. There's another factor at play here: China. Right now, China is one of the dominant powers in critical mineral refining capacity. The Guardian says Beijing handles refining for about 35% of the world's nickel, along with up to 70% of its lithium and cobalt. It's also the biggest player when it comes to rare earth elements, or REEs. China accounted for nearly half of the world's supply of REEs in 2024 and handled almost 90% of its refining of these precious materials. Now think about what Donald Trump has done to China since he became president. He's instigated a trade war with China using his tariffs. Trump's 10% tariffs on all Chinese imports took effect on February 4th. Trump also claims that he's going to impose a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminium imports into the US, which will include China's metals. This has already triggered a response from Beijing. China is taking a tit-for-tat approach by implementing tariffs of its own. It now has a 15% border tax that applies to all imports of US liquefied natural gas and coal products, along with a 10% tariff on large engine cars, crude oil, and agricultural machinery. China also imposed a ban on rare mineral exports to the US in December 2024. That ongoing trade battle is evolving into a major problem for the US on the critical minerals front. With China being so deeply entrenched in that sector, the US has to look for alternatives to keep supplies of these minerals flowing into the country. Trump's deal with Ukraine is his get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to the mineral issue. The EU likely sees a similar threat related to China controlling so much of the world's critical mineral reserves, which is why it struck its own deal with Ukraine back in 2021. China has been on Trump's mind ever since he took office, according to a February 25th article by The Conversation. It points out that China also controls a large portion of the world's gallium reserves, which is key to many of America's most modern defense technologies. Ukraine is the world's 5th largest gallium producer, meaning Trump has been eyeing up his minerals deal for a long time because he knows Ukraine can replace the lost flow of Chinese gallium. Trump is also wary of Putin's close relationship with China, especially given that China has become the dominant force in that twosome, according to The Conversation. Beijing's increasing influence needs to be countered, at least in Trump's mind. The minerals deal with Ukraine is a way to take power away from China. If Ukraine can offer the minerals that China no longer provides to the US,